Great. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ashish Kyal here. Welcome again to Elliott News Channel by Ashish Kyal Trading Gurukul. And this is the learning series started by wavestrategy.com. And it's fantastic to see that we are going full in the first minute of the start of the session itself. And the reason I'm keeping a limited participants because then I can take question and answers, which becomes easy. Beyond a certain point, it is difficult. I might not be able to answer everyone's query, but try to understand this webinar which we are conducting. I initially started this webinar as a 10-minute series, and it was not an interactive one. And this has been slowly kept on extending based on request of many. And now we are going full in just the first minute of the start of the session itself. That's fantastic. And thank you very much for all of you for your time and commitment and trust that you put your time and energy into listening to me. I'm going to ensure you get something out of this session that we discussed. The questions will be answered. I'm not going to discourage anyone from sharing across the session. You can, in case you miss out or you're not able to join in live, you have the option of viewing this after an hour on the YouTube. My YouTube channel is @Kyalashish. You can subscribe there. You will keep getting the alerts. The Telegram channel is Ashish Kyal Trading Gurukul. You can go and search for AKTG or Ashish Kyal Trading Gurukul. You will be able to subscribe there. So it's a fantastic day. I can see many of you right from the various different cities. I'm assuming every one of you are safe and staying back. It has been a rough ride for each one of you to be contained within a very, very specific area or zone which we are not used to. Uh, for me, it's relatively easy because I'm used to looking at the charts for hours, sitting at one place and not moving, absolutely still, just sitting absolutely still and not moving and looking at just the price chart, nothing else on the chart, not even touching the mouse. For hours, I can keep looking at that chart and keep looking at it. People call me crazy, but that's how fanatic I am when I'm looking at the charts. I just don't listen. If someone says something to me during that period, I don't even realize that someone is talking to me. So I'm that engrossed when I'm probably looking at the chart. So that's how I am. And that has actually helped me during this period because I don't even realize that I'm locked down at a specific place. So that's how it is. And I'm assuming a lot of you are from different cities and backgrounds. So that's fantastic. Great to see you, Tarun, Milan. I'll be able to answer questions not now. I'll be taking questions later on after the session, and we can keep discussing about the chart. So what's happening lately? We saw a very interesting observation I'm going to share across to all of you, is that the first lockdown when it was announced, Nifty was around the zone of 7,511 was the low. It continued to go sideways for a day, and the day it was announced, that level was still protected. Post that announcement, Nifty started rallying, and we saw a very sharp move on the upside when Nifty rallied by nearly around 1,500 points. It went from around 7,511, 7,550 levels to above 9,000. The second time now the lockdown is announced, we are seeing a very similar scenario post the extension of the lockdown, which we saw on the 14th. And then the very next day, Nifty opened gap up, did not sustain much, but came down and started going up again. So that's a very interesting phenomenon. I mean, there is an announcement of a lockdown which indicates that the economic activity is going to stay low, or probably there is no economic activity at all. And the extension of lockdown simply amplifies the fact that the pandemic is not going to go away easily. It's going to be there for quite some time. So during this scenario, when the markets are, instead of forming a top, markets are forming a low, can you make out? Can anyone tell me why do you think that's happening? Why do you think a prime minister announces a lockdown and the market rallies? What is happening with the markets? Why is it behaving in such a way? That is the question that should bother you every now and then. I'll give you the answer. So can someone tell me why do you think it's happening? Why do you think that the first time Nifty formed a low around 7,511, post that there was an announcement of a lockdown and Nifty rallied sharply on the upside? And the same phenomena we are observing even now. Nifty has rallied after the announcement happened. So Okay, a few of you are commenting government is active. Government is active on what? Government is not buying the stocks because after the announcement, I don't think government is doing that. They don't have money to probably fight this pandemic. Forget about buying in the markets. That's not possible. Big hands exiting the positions. No, the markets are going up though. So the big hands are not exiting, but probably they are already discounting what's going to happen. So markets are nothing but discounting what's going to happen in the future, and what is happening right now in the economy is coincident with the event and the news. But markets are forward looking, it's discounting. Many of the time you might have observed that as soon as the results are announced of any of the stocks, it's a very, very bad result and the stock rallies by 8, 10, 12, 15%. There are times when the fantastic results are announced and the stock crashes. Now that's something very interesting. Also, one very important aspect is that if you are looking at the news and the events and trading in the markets, you are probably acting as a laggard. When I say laggard, the news flow will keep happening and you will keep justifying the market movement because that's the logical explanation. Now, since markets have been moving higher, you will try to find out some other logical reason for why the markets are moving higher. It should go down, this should happen, that should happen, this is insane, all of those things. But try to understand, Nifty already crashed from 12,430 levels to 7,511 before the pandemic started kicked in India. That clearly showed that it was already discounting the worst which is going to happen in the near future. Now it's trying to discount what's going to happen later on. The only method that will help you to identify or forecast how Nifty is going to behave from here on is nothing but the Elliott wave pattern. In my decades of experience, I have not seen anything else in technical analysis that capable or of comparative to Elliott waves. I'm also recently writing a book. I have been swarmed with that right now. I have been just occupied uh, working nearly 16, 17 hours a day to complete my book, which is going to be published globally. In that, I have given enough examples. I have taken examples from 1987 crash. I have taken examples from 2008 crash. I have taken example from 2020. And you will not believe I'm just about to complete that research and looking at the charts, I was astonished myself. 1987 Dow Jones, you look at the chart, the Elliott wave patterns, the trend lines, the divergence, the break of the support, and it went fabulously on the downside. Same scenario, exact repeat in 2008 in US market. Same scenario, exact repeat in 2020. Nifty, in fact, is exactly behaving the way we saw the crashes of 1987, the way we saw the crashes of 2008, and now the same scenario happens. Every time the theme was different, the result, the underlying logic was different, or the news flow was different, I would rather say. 2008 was subprime crisis, and 2020 is pandemic. But the overall technical structure, the wave pattern, the sectors that are outperforming is exactly the same. And that is what is wonderful about the charts. I have been analyzing very closely the sectors which are outperformed during 2008 in US and the sectors that are outperforming now in India. I will not be able to share those charts because that is specific for the book unless it is published, but I want to share that across verbally that in 2008, if you can go and plot the sector relative performance chart. If you look at the sector's relative performance chart in 2008, you will realize that the sectors that outperformed, I'm saying outperformed, I'm not saying those sectors rallied and gave positive return. By outperformance, I mean if Dow Jones was going down by around 30%, those sectors did not fall by 30%. They were just falling by 10% or 15%. That's an outperformance. Right now, the sectors that are outperforming are the pharma and FMCG in comparative to Nifty. The sector that outperformed in 2008 have been pharma and FMCG, or the consumer staples in US. The worst performing sector in 2008, can anyone tell me which was the worst performing sector in 2008 in US? Can someone tell me the worst performing sector in 2008? And Abhishek, absolutely. Financials, banking, Vishal, real estate, absolutely, absolutely. Banks, you are bang on. You are bang on what underperformed in 2008. And I'm going to share across something very interesting with you right now and show you how we are performing right now compared to 2008. Let me share across that chart with you. Just give me a second. Let me share across, and you are going to be in for a thrilling experience. See, what I'm doing right now is ensuring you understand news is not the reason why the market moves. News will come later on. And what better example do you require that a lockdown announcement happening and the market's going up? That's a classic way of interpretation. Now look at this chart. If you can see my screen, can you look at the Nifty sectorial comparison chart right now? And this chart, again, I'm going to give my, this chart has been prepared by my mentees, who is currently, the mentorship program is currently ongoing, and this chart have been prepared by them under my guidance, that clearly showcase the quality of research that you learn if you join a mentorship program is simply mind-blowing. And I'm sure they will be more than happy to probably talk about it on the chat. They can share their experience, and this is prepared by them. Now look at this chart. I'm going to explain it in a very simple layman's language. That's my USP. Give me anything complex, I can explain you in the simplest possible way. So you might have just learned about RSI, moving averages. You are just too stuck upon those things. What I am trying to show you right now is the real science based on which big money or the big players look at the markets. You are not looking at these charts which are used by everyone. These charts are being probably prepared by only a few who is actually looking at the market. So let me zoom in. Is it clear now? Okay, you want me to hide myself? Okay, now this is perfect. Are you able to see this chart? Okay, again, the sectors that outperformed during the 2008 crisis was the result of subprime crisis. How do I know it so well and why I'm so much enthu about it or gungo about it is because 2008 I was working with Lehman Brothers. And if anyone knows what happened with Lehman Brothers, it filed for bankruptcy in US. And I was part of that crisis. So I was inside the company when the bankruptcy happened before Nomura took over. So I know what went wrong, what went right. That's completely about subprime. That point of time, we were too much hung up upon looking at the news, trying to see what's happening, why markets are going up, what's the latest news, and trying to justify that. If I have to ask you one simple reason today, why do you think Nifty rallied by more than 300 points or 250 points? Why do you think Nifty was up by such an extent in today's session? What changed in today's session to make it rally by 273 points in one single day? Technical pullback. That's one, because probably you believe into technical analysis, but what is the other reason? RBI announcement, Nagesh, there you go. Sanjay, RBI announcement, Abhishek, news, okay. Now tell me one thing, the RBI announcement time, when was RBI announcement happening? Can you share across? 10 a.m. When did RBI announcement complete? Vaccine news, today at 10 a.m. the announcement came, 11 the news got completed. Okay, let me share across a news chart right now with you, a tick chart right now with you in front of you. Now this is an entertainment, pure entertainment. This is not technical I'm talking, but to make you believe that if you still want to trade based on news, you're not going to make money. Okay, I'm going to show the chart. Let me share across my screen right now, and you will be amused to see how it's behaved. Okay, can you see NSE India tick chart? This is a tick chart. Okay, can you see the chart here? On the left hand side, the RBI announcement started at 10. Can you see that? That's the time, 10. Nifty was at around 9266 levels at that point of time. It was nearly around 9300 as soon as the announcement started. Then during the process of the announcement, which was ongoing, Nifty continued to move down, down, and down, and it continued to move towards the lows of 9130 level. Can you see that? The announcement was over by 11 o'clock, is what you say. I don't know. It was over by 11 o'clock. So Nifty was 9160. So from 9300, 140 points down move happened during the announcement. Are you with me? Post the announcement was over, Nifty showed some pullback towards 9212 and continued to move down, making the day's low at 9108. Now this happened at 12 o'clock, and now you say that the market rallied because of the RBI announcement. Can you justify the announcement was over at 11, but the market continued to drift lower and made the day's low at 12 p.m.? How do you explain me that? Next, if that is the case, Nifty again rallied back on the upside, again came towards the day's low exactly after an hour's time or maybe little more. So it went to the day's low till what? Post what? 1:20 a.m. 1:20 p.m. By 1:20, Nifty was still at 9120 levels. Can you see that? Now, what did change at 1:20 that the market started rallying slowly and steadily on the upside? If you believe that the RBI action resulted into market movement on the upside, can you explain me why it went up after the announcement was over? Sufficient time was there and it went up. European markets, here you come, Akshay or Kamaya, I'm not sure. European markets. So you need to make one thing very clear to me. You need to explain me. RBI policy announcement is not important as compared to the European market movement. Are you trying to convey me that? That's fantastic, right? If you say because of the European market movements we are going higher and not because of the measures taken by RBI, then why do you think that European markets are more important than an RBI action? But the headlines of tomorrow's newspaper, e-newspaper, I'm assuming no one getting the paper, in the e-newspaper, you can clearly make out RBI announcement resulted in as a boost to the market, and it went up and closed higher by 270 points. That's the news, the headlines. I'm telling you what the headline is going to be. So we follow Dow and global markets, not the domestic news is what you want to say. What happened on the budget day? We crashed. Now you will say we crashed on a budget day because we were trading on a Saturday and the global markets were not open, is it? Now you will say no, budget is a different phenomena. Now, how do you give weightage to which news should be driving the market? Budget is more important compared to the RBI policies, what you will say, or European markets are more important. So now if you want to trade objectively, you need to list down the list of possibilities based on the news of the market, based on the event of the market. So you have to identify all the news which will result into the moment. Now that's the problem, right? And that's what I am saying. Ayush, you are absolutely right. One should just focus on the price action and ignore the news. That's what I'm trying to communicate here. I am here to explain you one very important aspect. I know you want to know when we are going to form a bottom, but that's going to take me one line to say, but you can't really believe me, right? How do you believe me if you don't know me well? So what I'm trying to say is the markets are going to move in a very uh, random fashion. If you are looking at the news, it's not going to make sense to you at any point of time. That's the first point that we identify in such a short span of time. If that is one thing that can sink in you, that news is not driving the market, but market movement results into the news. Because if the markets would have closed negative, you would have seen the headline mentioning that RBI booster was shortfall of the expectations that majority expected, and that's why the market closed negative. Now the market closed positive. The news tomorrow is going to be RBI manages to cheer the street because of the probably corrective measures at the right time. I'm not saying they are doing the incorrect steps. I'm not at all comparing what they are doing is really commendable. I'm not commenting on that. What I am commenting on is the market movement. I am saying the market movement is not resulting out of the actions of the government or RBI or the European markets or the US markets. The action, the movement of the market is especially happening based on the sentiments, based on the crowd psychology as a whole, and based on what we think and the perception about the future. Not one person, not FIs, not DIIs, not FDI, not single player, I would say rather, are moving the market. It's not the FIs and the DIIs. Single player can't move the market. It's each one of us, you and me, responsible as a whole, as a crowd, which moves the market. And how do we measure that sentiment and the response and how people behave is by using the simplest tool known as Elliott wave. So we are seeing a classic pattern based on Elliott wave, and I'm going to show that now what I think of the Elliott wave pattern. Before I proceed on further, the reason I'm emphasized so much on the wave pattern and the news is because if I look at the news and trade the markets, I've done that in the past in 2008 and it was a disaster. But if I look at the Elliott wave pattern and trade the market, I can even forecast the news for tomorrow. That's the beauty of it. And that's what I'm trying to communicate. Let's now jump onto the chart. So the ones which you are seeing here is the relative performance. Let me come back to that again. This is published in my monthly research report on 8th of April. This was given, and post that you can clearly see the index, the stocks, how it has behaved. I've very much mentioned about it. So if you are able to see this chart right now, you can clearly see the color chart is Nifty. Which are the sectors? Can someone tell me again that underperformed in 2008? The sectors, the most underperforming sector in 2008 crisis in US. Which sectors underperformed? Quickly on the chat. Can someone tell me? Anyone? So which sectors underperformed? Financials, Nikhil, there you go. The financials underperformed, right? Reality, Arvind, Rajesh, yes. Real estate, Mahesh, PSU banks and pharma. Okay, enough. Auto, yes, absolutely, Mahesh. Darpan, great to see you again. And Tarun, banks. Okay, which sectors over here you see is underperforming? Can you see the chart now? PSU banks, real estate, banks, metal, financials. These sectors are on the downside. Where is Nifty here? So which means since the Jan 2020, Nifty is giving negative 27. This is a past chart. On 8th of April, it was published, not the latest one right now. But nothing much has changed since then. The most underperforming is still real estate, PSU banks, and the most underperforming in 2008 was same. The most underperforming in 2008 crisis of US sectors were the financials. Now that is something astonishing. 2008 was because of the subprime. 2020 now is because of the pandemic. The subprime crisis originated in US and spread across the world. The pandemic originated in China and spread across the world. The news are different, but the underlying performance is exactly the same. That's the beauty of the chart. Now someone tell me which sectors outperformed during the 2008 crisis. By outperformance, I'm not saying they rallied or gave positive return. I am saying that compared to Nifty, which sectors do you think did not fall as much as Nifty did, fell on the downside? Can anyone tell me? FMCG, Nikhil, yes. Namrata, pharma, absolutely. Rajesh, pharma, that's brilliant. Guys, you already know. Sharad Daga, oh, great to see you here on the platform here in our meeting. So most of you have probably attended my my Master of Waves class. I'm conducting that Master of Waves starting tomorrow. It's going to be starting at 10 tomorrow. Going to be there for 2 days, and it's going to be from 6 hours each day. It's going to be like fabulous session. If you can learn so much in just short span of time in last 20-25 minutes, imagine the learning in 6 hours, how much you will be able to do it. So I get a lot of things. So the IT, FMCG, and pharma is the answer for 2008. Let's look at now 2020. IT, can you see it is outperforming Nifty? Can you see FMCG? And can you see pharma? Can you see them outperforming relatively compared to Nifty? Now that is something very interesting, don't you think so? If pharma, FMCG, IT has continued to outperform, and compared to Nifty, these are the stocks that has outperformed, and 2008, the same set of stocks outperformed, or the sectors I would say outperformed. That don't you think that gives me enough confidence that I don't have to bother to look at the news right now? Are you getting my point? You don't have to bother and look at the news. And that's beauty of it. Yes, the color line chart is Nifty. That's the bar chart. That's a Nifty compared to Nifty, pharma, FMCG, and IT. Now this is interesting. You can say pharma is outperforming because of the medicine requirements of a pandemic effect. But what happened in 2008? Forget about me talking about it. Go and refer books of Who's Who. Go and read Intermarket Analysis by John Murphy. Go and refer the books, earlier books, and you will understand each of the market cycles, how it performs. So I'm sure, Kamai, I'm extremely louder. I can't be louder than that, otherwise I lose my voice. I'm not sure your speakers are correct. So over here, you can clearly see an outperformance in the pharma, FMCG, Nifty IT. Do you still think the news is driving the market? Are you still trying to buy that story? That is logical reasoning, because your mind is conditioned to look at the news and take a decision. But by doing this, by attending this session, I'm making it pretty clear to you, if you are looking at the news and taking a decision, you are probably driving the car looking at a rearview mirror. So don't do that. Okay, we are in a longer bear market. It confirms. Ayush, bang on. There you go. You are now saying we are in a longer bear market. You take my words. This is what I was going to talk about, and you just said it. You just nailed it correctly. So Ayush, I'm assuming you are also there tomorrow for the session. You will be learning a lot of things that I'm going to talk on Elliott Wave. So let me now go back and look at the charts of Nifty after this relative. I'm going to be now going very, very fast. It has consumed a lot of my time. I have something more important to complete right now. Bear market rallies are always fast and furious, absolutely. So look at this market now. Look at the fall. This is an hourly chart of Nifty, and look at the rise. Compared to the fall, the rise is just overlapping, going up, down, up, down, up, down, all over the place. It's just slow and slow and slow. It is just overlapping. Now, the start of the session was, when do I think bear market is going to end? I'm not going to give you that answer. I want you to derive that answer. So that's what I'm doing even for each of my mentees right now. So they derive it by themselves. I don't give them answers. So go and look at this chart. This is 2008 crisis, subprime crisis. Okay, it started at Jan. Again, it started in Jan. This is very important information for me. And it went on going all the way on the downside over here till what? This was, I'm sure this was October. So we went on correcting from Jan till October, but the actual low was formed not in October, but subsequent low was formed in March 2009. Now, anyone remember Satyam scandal? You remember 2009 Satyam scandal, anyone? I'm waiting. Satyam scandal. When do you think Satyam scandal originated, or it came out? It came out, formed later. Yes, you remember it, but do you remember the date? You remember the date, not the price. I think, Jay Balan, you have probably missed buying it at 7 rupees, and that's why you remember that price, because that's why people remember those things. 2009, yes, the first half 2009, that was the that was, so it was not Jan, it was March. If I remember correctly, I have a memory, I don't forget events. So if I remember correctly, I think it was March, but someone can verify that for me, please. And if it was March, the news was the worst that India can get as a corporate level at the Satyam scandal IT. Can you tell me where is March? The March low, this is March, and the Satyam scandal was here. Can you see that? Let me color it for you. Let me make it more interesting. That's the Satyam scandal happening. And look at the way the prices behave post that. That's fabulous, isn't it? That's the news. So the worst news came at the market bottoms. And can you see how it behaved? It rallied by more than 100% in the next 1 year of time. That's the beauty of charts, right? Now, can someone tell me how much did 2008 fall lasted for how long? For how long? It started in Jan 2008. It completed in March 2009. So what's the duration? 15 months, not 6 months, Vishal. 6 months you might have been looking at the low in October, agreed. So at least 6 months, I would say. And it lasted for what, 12, more than 12 months. It lasted for 13 to 14 months, right? So the normal bear market, this is a normal bear market of 2008, lasted for anywhere between 7 to 14 months. Am I with you? Same scenario if we have to use it now and compare it. We started the fall. If you can look at my chart right now. Okay, we started the fall here, Jan. And the Jan, if we have to continue falling for at least 6 months, the probable bottom does not kick in earlier than October or November. That's one. Even if we compare with 2008, it has to continue till March, maybe consolidation. I'm not saying the correction has to be always price. It can be in the form of a time as well. Maybe we continue to go sideways. And if it is 2008, I am comparing the fall and the intensity with 1987. Please go and refer back my YouTube channel, my prior week's video. You will know what I am talking about. I'm comparing that with 1987. And that is the reason I'm telling you the fall is not comparable to 2008, but 1987 in US. If that is the case, do you still expect a V-shaped recovery to happen for it to go above 12,400 from these levels? Now you tell me, does it make sense? Logically, looking at the history, see, there can be a scenario. This is a scenario analysis I'm doing. I'm not saying it can't happen 100%. Someone talks 100% probability, chuck those people out. If there is a 100% probability, you don't know whether I'm going to survive tomorrow or not due to pandemic. How can you say the markets are with 100% probability going to the highs or will not go to the highs? I'm saying with certain probability, certain risk component associated with it. Do you think markets are going to go towards 12,450 in next 3 months of time? Can you tell me that? Now, V-shaped recovery not possible, no pattern under formation. There has to be time consumption. There has to be a lot of things happening. It does not appear to be probable. Okay, I would not say it's not possible because then you're ruling out all the risk. I'm saying it's not probable. That's a much better word to use. So that's the thing I'm talking about. Kapil, I'm not giving levels unless I know you understand Elliott wave, because if I have to give you levels, I need to tell you about Elliott wave patterns. So what I'm going to tell you now, before I conclude, that in terms of time, we are not going up in 6 months period towards 12,450. I think we will be in for a bear market for another 6 months of time. This bear market might continue in the form of time or in the form of price. I am keeping a close watch in the ongoing wave B, which is ongoing forming right now, or the wave X, which is forming right now. Post this B or X is complete, the C or Y should start on the downside. Now that C or Y can form a triangle pattern. If it forms a triangle pattern, God save traders, because it's going to go sideways where you can't make money easily. If it goes down, it's a classic market for traders. You will make easy money during a downfall because that's the fastest way on the downside, provided you know when to enter and when to exit. Because equal fast reversals will come on the upside. So you need to be very careful about that, and you need to be ensuring. So my screen got stuck is what you are saying? No, I'm not moving anything on the screen right now. So are you with me? Did you get your answer? Why you joined this webinar was to understand why, by when the markets will bottom out. The markets will bottom out in another 6 months to 12 months, optimistically. We are going to see how this wave B is going to perform. If wave B goes deeper, it might take a little longer. If B starts going sideways and the crash starts, as a trader, I'm going to go all short. But I'm going to keep a close watch on this wave B or wave X, which is forming right now based on neo wave analysis, which I do. And that's what I want to say in order to conclude. Time wise, B should take same time as A on the downside. Ayush, see, in the neo wave concept, I'm not sure if you are attending tomorrow's session, but in the neo wave, wave B should take more time than A if it's a zigzag pattern, and B will take lesser time than A if it's a diametric pattern. X will take less time than A normally and of a lower degree as compared to the first leg. So I have a lot of information with me. I don't want to confuse you. What I'm trying to tell you, this wave B and the time consumed by wave B is going to decide for me how I'm going to ride the C on the downside. That's very important. As per Elliott, standard Elliott 5, I'm not sure, Manjunath, I'm not seeing your charts. You can probably post it on my traders forum. So do that. Alternation, important concept in Elliott wave. Absolutely. Alternation is must in case of an impulse pattern as per neo wave. Percent decline that had already bottomed. What wouldn't that mean that the percent decline had already bottomed? I'm not sure what you mean. If that's the alternation, this decline is similar to 1987 crash, not with 2008. So we are already alternating with respect to that. And the exact targets are given in my monthly research report, which I was just sharing a snapshot of it. You can probably subscribe to that monthly research and you will know the exact targets I am giving based on certain Elliott wave structures. Okay, was 61.8% decline. We are already at 50%. You are looking at the retracements on an arithmetic scale, Saurabh. Saurabh, yeah. So I am not looking at that anymore. I'm looking at the logarithmic scale now because we have already broken the channel on the downside. So the scale has changed from arithmetic to logarithmic. The Nifty crashed by 65% in 2008. We have not crashed that far right now. So I'm not saying that will happen, but I'm just saying, giving you a scenario, right? Expanding triangle, we have completed A down. I'm not sure when does one log chart versus arithmetic. Jai, when the fall is of a much higher magnitude and much bigger when you compare the last one. So I'm looking at the entire rally from 2008 as a diametric pattern, and we completed wave F on the upside. So this is G. G should mimic wave A. So 2008 mimic should happen in G. Since the fall is much bigger compared in terms of points in with A, that's why I'm now shifting to my arithmetic to logarithmic scale. Yes, we have completed a large degree. So we see target is 10,000. I'm not sure what you're talking about. So these are going to be, you can refer my daily research report, wavestrategy.com. Let me share across something very important for me. My team said that I need to announce that. So I'm going to do that very quickly, not spending a lot of your time. So you can probably see, okay, here. If you can see this screen of mine, this is Master of Waves. A lot of articles are published. You can see my Elliott Wave channel here, media coverage. I had interviews today also on yesterday on Bloomberg Quint. I'll be on CNBC next week. You can see here the patterns, the counts, a lot of those things are mentioned here. You can refer that. But before going to that, you can go and register now for that Master of Waves session, which is starting tomorrow at 10. If you are interested, you can simply drop a message, and you can message on 9920422202, and my team can explain you. We are almost getting full there, so there is not much time left. I think in next 1 hour we will be running full, so we will stop the registrations also in next 1 hour. If you are interested, you can visit wavestrategy.com, and on the page you will find all the information about what I'm going to cover in 2 days. You will get the video links of Elliott Wave for 6 hours, and all of these details. You can simply register here by paying online. You don't really have to go to your bank, which is anyways not working right now at this point of time, and it's not safe. You need to stay back at home. I'll ensure you don't go out. And that's what you can find, and you can probably register there for tomorrow's session. So, and you can call, as I said, the numbers, and you can all drop an SMS or contact us here. You can simply visit wavestrategy.com and contact us here. The other way to get in touch and to keep updated about the various alerts and everything, you can follow me on Twitter at the rate Kyalashish. I keep tweeting a lot of things during the day. Or you can, for the articles, yes, Nagesh, you can definitely pay by CC. You can simply go here on the Trading Gurukul and you can get it there. So, or you on the Telegram, Ashish Kyal Trading Gurukul is the channel name. You can search it and you will get it there. And I think I am running over time. I've been speaking relentlessly past 40 minutes. And as I said earlier, I used to keep this session just for 10 or 15 minutes. But looking at the enthusiasm and the number of questions all of you have, I have now probably extending this. So thank you very much, everyone, for your time. And this recording will be available on YouTube at the rate Kyalashish. Do subscribe to that channel. Do get alerts on the Telegram. You can also follow me on the various social media platforms on my Twitter at the rate Kyalashish. So I think this was an eye opener for you to understand why we are into unprecedented times of 2008, and it's a repeat. It's a repeat. So that's what I want to say and conclude. And it's not the news, it's not the events, it's a repeat of what happened earlier in 1987 and 2008. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. Stay back home and follow the rules and the guidelines. If you want to become successful either in trading or in life, you need to follow some disciplinary measure, and it's extremely important. And a lot of you, I am going to see you tomorrow for the session which I am conducting on Master of Wave. I'm extremely excited to talk about how I look at the market and not the news. Thanks a lot.